excited. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, September 16th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting with today. Oh, this energy is volatile. I know, it's emotional. It's frustrating. I know you're already, I can tell a lot of energy is like, I'm already frustrated. I've already started the day frustrated. I've already started the day nostalgic. I've already started the day overwhelmed. Guys, that we are on the cusp. We are on the cusp of a full moon, a Pisces full moon that also has eclipse energy attached to it. So yeah, it's going to feel potentially volatile right now. I'm going to stress to you, I don't want anyone being reactive today. All right, I'm telling you right now, nobody's allowed to be, you can be in your feels. You're not going to subject other people to your feels right now. Don't do it. Don't say anything that you're going to regret. I'm just seeing this right now. This is a good day for contemplation. This is a good day for doing the things that you need to do, not letting yourself get frustrated, get motivated. Take that frustration, make it something productive. Because I see even now that there's something about that feeling of nostalgia that's happening right here. And this is a lot of that. We told you yesterday there was a lot of energetic unpacking that happened. Masculine and feminine doing a lot of that inner child healing right now. This is looking back on something with new eyes, holding grief for what you couldn't potentially see in the past. And I got to say that there's a little bit of this energy here that's feeling, I want to say this in a gentle way. It's like, it's that that feeling. I can see a lot of the energy. I can see a lot of energy deep within divine union, looking at experiences from the past and trying to navigate the feeling of feeling sorry for themselves because they're healing through that, the inner child work, but also building into that sense of energetic resilience, right? I got to stress this. If this is occurring right now for energy within divine union, the guides are clear on this. You cannot hold yourself energetically accountable for something that you could not see. I want you to say that to yourself right now. If you're feeling like this, I want you to say, you cannot hold yourself energetically accountable for something that you could not see. If you can see something now that you could not see before, well, congratulations, that's called wisdom. So we see even now that for a lot of this energy, that ability of moving forward with a sense of affirming to oneself like what you want to change. This is a lot of that energy building into that pathwork of resilience, because this is the energy that is recognizing that moving towards things that one is avoiding is often that sense of feeling like I told you, this is the energy that is working through feeling comfortable in their discomfort zone. That's rough territory. But this is a lot of the energy deep within divine union that's setting themselves very straight, like into that, onto those rocks, if you will, because this is the energy that is trying to work through navigating that feeling and not feeling overwhelmed by it. So make sure that you're not reactive within it, especially if you're doing something in a way that you know you're challenging yourself in the process. Masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union. Whew, it comes in waves. That's what they're saying. I see it even now. They're saying it comes in waves. Recognize it comes in waves. Healing comes in waves. And I'm seeing even now that there's something about that energy of healing that's happening right now. And I'm telling you even now, if you weren't feeling like this yesterday and you're feeling like this today, remember it comes in waves. And remember that we've got a full moon tomorrow in Pisces that's also got a lunar eclipse around it. So that's some really wobbly energy, right? So if you're feeling wobbly right now, that's probably the reason why. But for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, a lot of this is the catharsis. And again, what did we see? What did we see was happening for a lot of that energy that is coming into divine union? It's bittersweet because that energy is looking back on the past with new optics, moving something into a different place, healing from something, not cutting a cord, but redistributing the weight of where they were energetically carrying something within the etheric body. And in that moment of doing so, this is the energy that is holding it with a sense of delicacy, of care, the delicacy and care of recognizing the wounding that occurred in a past experience that you might not necessarily have been able to see at the time that it was occurring, while also reaffirming and holding that space of appreciating how far they've come because they're coming into divine union. And so this is the energy saying and holding that space of saying, I don't regret anything that happens, but what I'm holding hurts. What I'm holding is a wound, right? And this is the energy that's almost looking at something that they were holding in esteem, and now they're seeing it as a wound. And so this is requiring a different level and degree of care. So we see even here that a lot of that energy, this is the exposition of that. This is the articulation through it. Not reacting to it, articulating through it right now. This is becoming the tie that binds, because I just see even now that there's a lot of that energy that is moving into divine union. And I kind of see that that's that feeling of emotionality, and it's the opening up of the emotional vector in allowing oneself to experience the past anew, because you're recognizing that what you're feeling in the process is different than what you may have felt at the time. You got to hold yourself with a little bit of empathy if you're doing that work. Masculine and feminine in separation right now. I see a lot of frustration and grief that's potentially arising for some of the energy today in separation, because this is the energy that, again, I keep seeing. I told you a lot of this energy right now is amplified forward via the frustration. A lot of this energy was being pushed forward via the frustration, seeing something, feeling the frustration of something that felt too akin to something that you did not like in the past. This is what's been motivating the energy forward. But if you're in that movement, if you're in that movement of walking away from something that felt like it was close to what you wanted, but it wasn't at all what you wanted, but now you don't necessarily see what's ahead, this is the energy that's asking themselves and feeling that challenging space of saying, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I moving in the wrong direction? Have I made an energetic mistake? Because this is the energy that's questioning themselves. But again, that questioning is the refining of the manifestation goal. Because if this is the energy in separation, looking at something and saying, no, you know what, that situation or circumstance checked every box except the most important one. We see even here that is that modality or that circumstance or situation wherein we identify that something about that change is helping you navigate what you can change internally versus what you're experiencing externally. And for a lot of that energy, again, as you're moving towards your manifestation goals, you're going to have to say no a lot before you say yes, because the ability to move towards manifestation is the ability of identifying what is your manifestation versus what is not. Second card in our 5-card spread for today is we've got here our 7 of Swords in its upright. So a lot of nostalgia today, a lot of an energetic emotionality, a lot of frustration, particularly in the realm of the past. You know what I say? Forward. We don't go back to the sword store looking for puppies or kittens or butterflies. We only go back to the sword store looking for one thing, and that is swords. So this is a lot of this energy right now that is remembering or identifying or looking back on something. And this is the energy that is feeling, why do we see so much of this energy in separation doing this path work as they move forward? Because this is the energy that's moving forward in separation, re-reviewing the context of a circumstance or situation to ask themselves if there's anything that they would change, right? If there's anything in terms of what they experience that they themselves would change. And this is the energy that's looking back and going, no, I'm like, that's the energy that says I wouldn't change anything that I did. It was what I was receiving that was problematic. It was what I was receiving that was difficult. This is the energy that's almost saying to themselves, that reaffirmation of saying, I'm regretting, and this is what we talk about, right? We spoke about this, the difference between devastation and frustration. We feel devastation when there's something that we wish that we could change, that we ourselves have done. We feel frustration when we look back on something and we recognize and say, I wouldn't do anything different, but what I received back wasn't ideal. So we see even now that this is the energy that's feeling frustration because of the circumstances instead of devastation. So this is saying that this is the same message that's coming through, which is, again, if you are in separation right now and you are feeling frustrated instead of devastated, then you're probably moving in the right direction, because that's the energy that is externalized outside of the self. That is the energy saying, why does this keep happening, instead of what do I need to change? Because this is the energy that is navigating that territory to make sure that they're not changing. There's nothing that they would change about like their own circumstances, but it's more about that sense of, again, moving towards one's own ideals by doing that work. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that's intentionally opening up the past. This is the difficulty, because this is the energy that cannot help having the past open in the process of coming into divine union, because this is the energy that's reactivating their trust center. They're starting to feel again. They're allowing themselves the vulnerability to be able to feel again. It's like when you open that box, you can't necessarily control what comes out of it, right? So this is the energy that's like, I'm starting to feel again. And oh my God, some of that's anguish. Some of that is anguish for what occurred in the past. This is the energy that's looking back and being like, oh my gosh, like, because this is the energy that's now experiencing that modality of, again, simultaneously building into the heart of a connection that feels like it is authentic, that's suddenly giving clarity to the past. But when you're looking back in the past now, you're like, oh my God, like it's like that modality of seeing it with new eyes that immediately allows for that vector of vulnerability, because this is the energy that's feeling the security and safety of being able to heal again. But there's that moment that feels like you can't necessarily avoid it, because this is the energy that's almost refacing or re-experiencing their past in the process of building forth towards energetic connections that are immediately providing clarity and context. While for masculine, and so that's emotional, right? That feels like the turbulence of rough waters while still being in like a very secure vessel. While for masculine and feminine energy that is deep within divine union, don't be too hard on yourself right now. I'm going to tell everybody in divine union right now, your job is not to be perfect. Your job is not to be perfect. You are not put on this planet to be perfect. Your job is to do the best that you can. Your job is to take notes. Your job is to get better. So if you're going through this right now and you're being hard on yourself because especially you're doing something in a different way that's giving you clarity in terms of recognizing your own hurdles, your own obstacles, the places and spaces that you may have inadvertently stood in your own way, you forgive yourself for that right now, because that's silliness. That is silliness. I won't stand for it. And a lot of this here, like a lot of this is giving me so much of this energy of like regret right now. Like, and I gotta say, a lot of this feeling of regret and frustration, it has to do with the energy that we're moving towards right now. We got a full moon in Pisces tomorrow with a partial eclipse on it. It's volatile. It's emotional. Make sure that you're being productive through it. To let that frustration fuel the fire going forward. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is Hierophant. Let it set your intentions. Let it motivate you. Right? Because often you have to recognize a lot of the spaces and places where we define ourselves, okay, is recognizing something that we would do better, right? That's how we commit ourselves to path work. We set ourselves into that intentionality on what we're trying to commit to do better. So this is a big energy right now that we're seeing that is occurring in relationality to the energy coming into divine union, because this is the energy right now that is making changes by recognizing what it is that they want to change. But that's hard, heavy work, because this is giving me like literally the type of energy of like review. This is like self-review energy. This is energy like giving themselves a self-review and like finding themselves lacking and reaffirming to their energetic commitments. But I got to say, I'm telling you right now, for a lot of energy within divine union, you're being too hard on yourself. And I think you know this because I think like your counterpart would tell you that if that was the case. If you're being hard on yourself right now and you're in divine union and your counterparts even are articulating and saying, you know, it seems like I feel like one of your big flaws is you're too hard on yourself. Like this is the energy that like again utilizes that path work, not letting yourself get caught in despair. You're fueling that fire. You're stoking that forge, because I see even now like that's a lot of that energy that is re-amplifying their own energetic commitments of change via the understanding of the self and the correction of what it is that you feel like you could do better as you go forward from this point. So this is a lot of like those energetic commitments I see that are coming into focus. Masculine and feminine energy right now. This is why this energy is so volatile, because I told you this is the energetic commitment that you're coming into, that you're feeling the stability on, and it immediately harkens back to the past in a way that you couldn't perceive it, because this is the energy that's now finally recognizing if there was something you were experiencing in the past and you're like, there was always something missing. There's a lot of energy right now that's in divine union that goes, I found it, and boy, has it changed my perspective on what I was experiencing in the past. So this is that mutual affirmation of the energy that feels like they have to cast their eye back to the past. But at the same time, it's almost looking at a past and doing so because they're deepening their understanding of it. But it hurts. It hurts, right? Because this is the energy that's letting themselves feel the pain on something that they couldn't necessarily perceive before. While for masculine and feminine energy, in separation, I see a lot of energy in separation that keeps on saying the same thing. I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to be alone forever. Forget the manifestation goal. I changed my mind. I can see a lot of the energy. I can see a lot of the energy right now in separation going, forget this. Forget that. I'm done. I'm done. I can see a lot of the energy going like this. I'm not going back. And it's interesting because I see even now that feeling of being sick and tired is the amplification of you coming into your manifestation, because you're not working on energetically trying to please anyone right now. There's a lot of energy right now in separation that's basically saying, I'm not moving off of my own alignment for anyone. I don't even care if they're my manifestation. But I need to stress this. Do you recognize what's happening if someone's gotten so fed up that they're saying to themselves, I'm not going to change for anyone, including my manifestation. I'm going to just be my full expression of self. And if someone can't take that, then they can't take that. This is energy that is building into the commitment to the self. The commitment to the self that allows alignment in relationality to what you're coming towards, because this is the energy that is feeling empowered to be their most authentic self. And I got to tell you, even now, there's a little bit like, did you think you were going to move into your manifestation and it was going to be like just like a garden path? No, this is the energy that is like grabbing a machete and going, I'm not walking on this path anymore. I'm walking on this one. And they're dragging, they're forging that path for themselves in the process, because this is the energy that is not worried so much about following the path work. This is the energy that's moving in the directionality of their manifestation, come what may. This is the energy that's committing to themselves in the process. So I just keep seeing that there's a lot of energy right now that is potentially saying like, I'm done. But what they're really saying to themselves, and they don't recognize it, is you're beginning. You're not done. You're beginning. Fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here our Ace of Wands. So I see this is further affirmation of that. There's a lot of energy right now in separation that's saying, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And what you're really saying to the universe is, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I'm beginning, I'm beginning, I'm beginning. Because this is the energy that doesn't feel like that sense or that determination of saying, I need to conform to find my ideal counterpart. This is the energy that is recommitting to their own self in the process of finding themselves. And that sense of being fed up, like that is that Kundalini awakening to a certain extent. This is the energy saying, I don't care. Because what that energy is really saying in the modality of saying, I don't care, this energy cares a lot. But this energy cares a lot about finding what is for them. But a lot of that is because they found it within them. So we see even now that this is the energy that's, again, moving forward in like with a sense of partnership that may feel like a little bit of that like open palm on it, being like, I could take it or leave it. Because this isn't the energy that's saying partnership, 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 no matter what. Or long-term partnership, long-term partnership, long-term partnership, no matter what. This is the energy that is refining on what they know is right for them. And this is the energy that almost says, that is the commitment. And when you're moving towards that manifestation goal, it's going to require you to say a lot of no to things that you know isn't it as you move towards your yes. Masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union. And I'm telling you even now, there's a lot of energies like, I'm done. And they're literally on the cusp of having these like new energetic connections coming through. I'm seeing even now, this is going to be a very big eclipse season for a lot of energy and separation. Masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union. This is heartbreaking, but it's not heartbreaking. It's heart expanding. Why? What's a heartbreak? A heartbreak moment is something where, again, we carry pain for something because we don't understand the full context of what's occurring. There's a lot of energy right now coming into divine union that is healing heartbreak from the past by letting it become a heart expansive moment, because coming into alignment suddenly creates clarity and context for anything that may have come before. So that modality, this is why a lot of that energy is re-experiencing the pain in the past in a different way, because this is the pain that is coming back, but it is not the pain of longing. It is the pain of regret, of disappointment. It's the pain of grief. It is the pain of sadness, because this is the energy that's almost taking something out to be able to move it somewhere else, and having to even hold it in the process of doing that. It's like it burns the hands in the process of doing it. But this is the energy that feels like it is that expansive point instead of that contracting or that pain of something missing, because you're doing that work in the process of having found something. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, a lot of this energy right now, don't be so hard on yourself right now. Don't you dare be so hard on yourself right now. If you're deep within divine union, you're doing the work. You know you're doing the work. The problem is the energy in deep within divine union beats themselves up half the time and says to themselves that they're not doing enough. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you're building into that space of trying to stay in terms of one's own personal commitment, and you're reaffirming to yourself in the process what you're planning on changing because you're seeing something from the past that you wish that you could have done differently, you're already in the process of making those changes. So I see even now, like, there's a lot of that energy that's doing that, but it's like, I want to say, it's like, it's a lot of back and forth here right now. I just see that there's a lot of energy right now is like feeling, it's feeling like that motivation of empowerment. But this is the energy that's also building into that resolution of making changes right now, that's reaffirming and re-identifying one's own commitment to the self and one's pathwork in the process. A lot of energy right now, deep within divine union, really focusing on what their priorities are. Fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is Page of Swords in its upright. Masculine and feminine energy right now, this is that feeling of empowerment. So I see even now, I'm going to say it again. This is productive, but don't get frustrated. Like, I know. Okay, so before I was saying, so this is how we're moving. Devastation to frustration. A lot of energy realizes and recognizes. So this is the energy that's learning the lesson of the energy and separation now within divine union. Don't feel devastated, get frustrated, because frustration is the empowerment fire that allows for change. So a lot of this energy is now taking that frustration and moving it into energetic courses of action, moving it into something that is empowering. So a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now is alchemizing regret into reaffirmation. So we see even now, like, that's a lot of those new energetic commitments that are occurring prior to this. That makes a lot of sense, prior to this eclipse season starting. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union, this is the same energy that's doing that work right now. This is the energy that is having to do a redistribution process in terms of something that they were energetically carrying. Literally healing something by moving it where you keep it in the etheric or spiritual body. In the process of moving it, it hurts because it's requiring you to experience it again. You have to, like, carry it over there. It's like I keep seeing here somebody carrying a memory that's burning their hands to a certain extent. Hot plate. It's like a hot plate. But this is the energy that recognizes that they're doing so in a way because this is what's allowing, like, this is the process of healing. It's not the cutting of the cord. It's moving something into a place that it feels like it is accommodated in relationality to where you are now are. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation. I get a lot of energy being like, I'm tired, grandpa. Like, I just got a lot of energy in separation going, no, I'm not even listening. Like, I'm not even listening to this. No, I don't want to listen. No, don't tell me that I'm on the cusp of my manifestation goal. Like, there's a lot of energy being like, I am so fed up. But I see even now that sense of empowering, there's energy here in separation that's recognizing that fire, that frustration, this is the sense of selectivity. And if something that used to devastate you now frustrates you, that's not because you're not trying to move towards something and hoping that it's going to change into your manifestation goal. This is the energy that is so focused now on what it is that they're trying to manifest, that the ability to see what it is not is frustrating them. because this is the energy that's built the confidence and the assurance in the self in the process. And so we see even now some of that is being articulated by this energy, rolling the tape back on some of the things that may have recently occurred. And I see even now a lot of that energy being like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I can see a lot of energy going, I didn't do anything wrong. I would do everything again. So what happens in those modalities where something happened and you're rolling the tape back in your own head and you're going, nope, 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 that was right. That was right. No, that was completely true. And this is a lot of energy that's looking back on something and they're feeling the reaffirmation as they move forward, because this isn't the energy coming into a space of regret for something that they energetically did. This is the energy that's almost saying to themselves, no, I'm seeing Sarah, there's something that feels like it's frustrating because it feels like I was observing a pattern that was repeated. The only difference is I've made a change and I'm moving away from it instead of towards it, because something that used to attract me now repulses or repels me because the energy is moving towards their manifestation goals. So the energy will probably be feeling more and more frustrated as they move away towards the thing that's for them, because you're recognizing that sense of like, I want to get building an intolerance for anything that isn't your manifestation goal. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. It's like everything's giving you the ick. I'm not surprised. Continuing to get clarification right now between our 5 of Cups in a combination with our 7 of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Swords, Cups in its reversal. This is emotional for feminine. This is emotional, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. A bit more emotionally volatile for feminine right now. There's a lot of feminine right now. Why is this emotionally volatile for feminine? Because if this is feminine that's moving away from energy of masculine, wherein they were effectively waiting or trying to receive a manifestation goal, I see even now a lot of this energy of feminine and separation moved away from someone that feels like they potentially were checking every box except the ability to articulate upon a manifestation goal. And there's a lot of energy in separation of feminine going, that's not fair, right? Because that's the energy of the feminine feeling the sensation of feeling that modality of wanting to co-create with masculine. And so we see even now that for a lot of that feminine energy, recognizing or realizing that even now moving away from something that you know is potentially available to you, but the terms are not such that you feel like you are co-creating so much as almost requiring you to be in a space where you don't have that ability to see like what's going to be coming up on the horizon on something. This is the energy that's, I can see the energy of the feminine going, I'm not going, like that's the affirmation. Some of this energy of feminine right now going forward is starting with a no, saying I'm not going back to that. I'm not accepting that. I'm not tolerating that. Because again, sometimes when we move towards our manifestation goals, that ability of not tolerating what is not our manifestation goal is what calls us towards our manifestation. So a lot of it is coming through right now as that feeling of energetic selectivity in feminine, because the feminine energy is almost looking at something and saying, I'm not going to stay in a space or place that requires me to be emotionally available to someone that's not building a sense of security of those emotions. I see that a lot of this feminine energy is dealing with some experience now recently coming out of the retrograde of someone being like, give me your heart. And someone being like, what are you going to do with it? And then being like, I don't know. Well, where are you going to go with it? I don't know. Let's just see where I decide to take it. And the energy of feminine being like, that's bonkers. And just walking away from someone. While for masculine, this is more something that may be feeling emotionally vulnerable. Because I see even now that for a lot of the masculine energy, moving through some of that, having the ability, the masculine, building into a state of confidence in terms of articulating what you want from feminine, while also telling them how you feel. If this was a feminine that was not able to match the masculine in this modality, this is, or potentially a feminine that felt too emotionally, too much of the emotionality expressed to be able to articulate like what it is that they want in the long term. We see even now that a lot of the masculine energy, I feel like this is more of the energy of the masculine feeling the frustration and saying, I don't want to be on a roller coaster, right? I just keep seeing that a lot of the masculine is feeling that same feeling of energetic distaste by feeling like vertigo and being like, this is too emotionally volatile. It's too many ups and downs. So we see even now that both of these energies feeling the same way, like feminine coming out of it really frustrated, masculine coming out of it almost emotionally dizzy, and these energies are moving towards their manifestation goals in the process. Masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union. This is the energy, and this is why we see even now that ability of looking back on the past For masculine, there may be more spaces and places of looking back on something with emotional regret. Feminine may be having more of that sense of emotionality in terms of not feeling like they were seen or appreciated to the context that they would hope to as they come into counterpart energy here. Because I see even now that for a lot of the masculine energy, the masculine really knowing what it is that they want and building a context of safety and security with the feminine in the process. This is giving clarity to masculine about anything that may have happened in the past, or even reconsidering some of those experiences in such a way that there's a deepening of understanding as to the vulnerable emotional vulnerability of the feminine in the process of coming into understanding one's own self. For feminine, it's more of that modality of feeling the confidence and seeing the confidence and the consistency through which masculine can approach you that changes your own landscape on anything that may have occurred that wasn't that in the past. So you see even now for feminine, that's more of that moment that may feel like very emotionally volatile. For masculine, it may be feeling more of that sense or space of reaffirming on one's own path work, while also holding some regret in terms of what you may not have known or recognized about the self in the past that may have created some of those difficulties or emotional disharmony with feminine on that process of like, I want to say it's more connected to inner child healing for masculine right now. While for masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, a lot of this work that we see, this is that training wheels energy. I told you, both masculine and feminine doing things in ways that they haven't done before. Masculine learning as they go, building into that sense of feeling comfortable in the role of being a novice at something. Getting used to not feeling energetically silly in the process is how the masculine's healing their inner child. Feminine is building into that space of allowing some of that emotional like overwhelm to empower them. Like this is a lot of that energy of the feminine that's working through that sense of frustration to the self. But what happens when you take that frustration about something and you just use it to like stoke a fire? This is a lot of that feminine energy that's feeling like they're taking that emotionality and they're putting it into good spaces. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Swords in combination with our Hierophant. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, there they are, our Lovers card. I love it. Because even here, I'm telling you right now, this energy within divine union, you're too hard on yourself. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in divine union and you're going through this process and you're beating yourself up, you're too hard on yourself. You're being too hard on yourself right now. If you're building that sense of reaffirming and building that sense of building those new energetic commitments to yourself, you're already on the path of personal growth. And I have to stress, the path of personal growth is one that you're constantly looking back and saying to yourself, I could have done better. I want to do better, right? So we see even now like that ability. Remember that, recognize that. That doesn't go away, right? And this is a lot of the energy that's getting that reassurance via the energetic counterpart, helping you see something with a clearer perspective. The energy within divine union are acting as clear mirrors for one another and telling each other that they're being too hard on themselves in the process of coming into that sense of doing better. Masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is the clarity of a healthy partnership that is redistributing what the energetic weight that you give a lot of those past experiences. And it's hurting a lot in the process. It's hurting a lot in the process because I see even now that some of that energy that we're experiencing here, this is the energy that's like that's what we say when we say come into union with someone and everything changed. It's not that everything changed, it's that your perception of everything that was before that has shifted. There's like a massive shift that's happening right now for so much of this energy coming into divine union. While for masculine and feminine energy, and this is that energy that almost looks back on something and says, I can't go back, because this is the energy that says, I see something in a way that I could not see it before. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, this is the energy that's literally saying to themselves, I don't want it. Like this is a lot of energy right now. I see a lot of energy in separation that's basically almost saying and like saying like I'm just letting go of my manifestation goal. I'm just going to focus on the self. I'm just going to I see a lot of energy going, I'm going to focus on inner union. And like this is the energy. And a lot of this energy in separation, like that's feeling of being frustrated, it's what's stoking this energetic fire, because this is the energy that's recognizing and feeling empowered in the process of moving away from something that like that reassurance in oneself and how one navigated a situation recently. Like I see even now, like this is a lot of energy that's like about to come into energetic union, because you're building in that space of intolerance for anything that is not that. Continuing to get clarification between our Hierophant card and our Ace of Wands and its upright. Two beautiful cards to have in combination. One card to clarify here. We've got here, look, you remember this bad boy? It was down, I was upside down yesterday. It was reversed yesterday. We've got here our Six of Wands and its upright. Why? Because a lot of energy right now, and I got to tell you even now, I see a lot of energy in separation that's saying, did I make the wrong decision? That person, they seem like they had a lot of important aspects of something that I liked. They feel like they checked all the boxes, but this is the energy that in the process of coming into divine union, you're refining your manifestation goals. Because if you're saying, yeah, they were perfect, except for the thing that was most important. They were perfect except for the thing that is absolutely vital and necessary in order for me to be in energetic union with someone. This is the energy that's basically feeling like they have really seized upon the real necessary like understanding of a manifestation goal. Because I'm going to say it again. A good manifestation goal makes you understand yourself better than just getting something externally. A good manifestation goal helps you dig within the self to understand what is truly the most important thing. And so we see even now, like there's a lot of that energy that's been refining their manifestation goal to a certain extent, to such a way that this is the energy that again is almost building a distaste for anything that is not that, because this is the energy that almost says, I'll know it when I find it. I'm not going to question myself, because why would I say to myself, what do I not know what I want? Like when we say to ourselves, did I make the wrong decision? This is what we're really saying is, I don't know myself. I don't know myself. Do you think you're going to miss anything that's for you? Do you think you're going to miss anything that's for you? If you know yourself, how could you miss something that's for you? It's for you. So we see even now that this is the energy saying that ability to look within the self and say, I know what is for the self. I know what is for me. This is a lot of that energy that's building into that space of confidence. Because even now I see the energy being like, I'm done. I'm not looking for anything. Maybe now's the time that you find it. Maybe it's a moment that you're not looking for anything, right? Did you ever lose something in your house and you go looking all over the place and you can't find it anywhere and then you go, I'm done, and then it comes up? There's a lot of this energy that we're seeing right now, like around some of this energy and separation. And it's giving me a little bit of this energy that's like washing their hands to a certain extent, because this is the energy that's feeling good within themselves and their decisions in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, clarity, there's a lot of energy right now that's going, clarity is coming forward, like clarity has arrived going forward. This is the energy that's feeling like there's a big completion of an energetic cycle that's occurring around them right now, because this is the clarity of an energetic partnership. And I got to say here, it's not that these partnerships are perfect. These are new partnerships that I'm seeing. These partnerships started, some of these partnerships didn't really open up until we reached the retrograde process. But it is the authenticity of a healthy energetic connection built upon equal give and take and building trust in the process that is the rival of understanding for a lot of energy that did not receive that in the past. That is creating a context that's almost saying, regardless of where this goes, it has already delivered a gift, because that gift is one of understanding. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, so much of this energy that we're seeing right now that is deep within divine union is built upon and based upon that context of personal accomplishment, of working towards those goals, of building into those modalities here. Because I see even now that there's a lot of this energy right now that is coming into divine, that's deep within divine union, that is really prioritizing, like focusing on what those priorities are. Because I see even now, like there's a lot of this energy right now that I have to say, it feels to me like the refining of priorities, but again, building forth in such a way that this is the energy that's like feeling that sense of accomplishment in doing that. because this is a lot of that pathwork of patience and perseverance that is setting the pathwork of purpose. It's all those P's coming back. Appeasement, basically. So we keep getting all of these P's with the appeasement energy. Continuing to clarification between our Ace of Wands in combination with our Page of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Two cards coming out to clarify. We've got here beautiful energy, our 10 of Pentacles and our 5 of Swords. This is a lot of energy right now, deep within divine union. That's just like, this is the message. This is the message of the energy and separation now coming up to the energy within divine union. This is something where the recognition point of how far someone has energetically come within divine union is such that something that you're receiving that would have devastated you just frustrates you. Like that ineffectively is showing so much of this energy, how far they have come in terms of their own personal growth process here. Because I see even now that some of that energy is experiencing some kind of energetic revisitation of something here. But understanding and recognizing like something that would have, really bothered you that now feels like, it's not that big a deal. Like this is the energy that's really focusing on what those energetic commitments are. And that's changing a lot of this context in terms of what they're focusing on and what their priorities are. So a lot of that perception that I see right now is occurring is both happening. It's happening simultaneously. It's showing someone how far they've come, and it's redefining where they are going. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union, same exact thing that's happening right now during the cycle, the ability of seeing how far you've come and being able to look at something that used to previously devastate you with eyes that now frustrate you. This is the energy that feels like they've arrived into their manifestation goal. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, so much of this energy that I'm seeing right now in separation, this is the energy. I see it even now. This is energy going, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not even. But I see even now that this is because some of this energy is even recognizing that at a time period like this is energy that would have gone back to something. Would have been like, oh, maybe I was too harsh. Oh, maybe I should give them another chance. Maybe I should ask them again. And this is the energy going, absolutely not. Because this is the energy that is working towards that sense of doing something and seeing the fact that your own feelings and the way that you're navigating something has changed to such a degree that this is the energy that is focused. That I see even now that this is the energy that's built such a tolerance. That's something that the observation, I can see something about the energy and separation going, you know what? The past version of me would have tolerated that. The past version of me would have been fine with it. The new version of me isn't accepting it. Because this is the energy that's recognizing that a good manifestation goal will change you in the process of coming towards it. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Lover's card in its upright. One of the cards, next card to clarify. The Tower in its reversal. And I got to stress here, I see it even now. There's so much of this energy right now in separation that keeps saying, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Right? What does it mean when you're over it? It means you're going to walk over it. It means that you're not putting up with it. Right? This is the energy that's again, something that you would have just marched back into and been like, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. I'm going to go right in there. This is the energy being it's almost like the energy has come so far that again, this is the light of the past, the darkness of the past that is casting a light on the present, because this is the energy going, I'm rolling the tape back. I know exactly how this is going to pan out because I've done this before. Right? This is the energy that's recognizing and identifying something that feels too similar to a past experience. And this is why the energy is frustrated, because the energy is saying, this isn't new. This is old. I've done this before. I'm not doing it again. Right? So what happens when we build that sense of being repulsed by something that we would have done before? We recognize how far we've come. We've recognized how much we've changed. And this is the energy in separation that builds that sense of appreciation, because this is the energy that's looking back on something and saying, no, I'm not doing that again. Like I'm not gonna, I've walked that road before. I've been, I'm not gonna, I don't need to, and this is the energy going, I don't have to go on that full journey. I already know how this goes. Like this is the energy that's staying focused on that, because this is the energy that's not feeling the anxiety of going, but what if that was my manifestation? But why would your manifestation be acting like a dork? Like that's like a lot of that energy that's going like, no, why would this is the energy going, is that you, manifestation goal? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the energy that's going, that's absurd. How am I going to recognize? Like, of course I'm going to recognize what my manifestation is. This isn't the energy being like, you know what? I don't know why my manifestation is treating me so awfully. Somebody didn't tell them that they're supposed to be my manifestation. This is really weird. This is supposed to be my manifestation, but they're awful. I don't know what's up with that. Like, this is a lot of the energy being like, what? What? Think about that for a second. Like, this is the energy being like, my manifestation is not going to be a jerk. Like, this is the energy that's basically just saying that. And working through that is the energy being like, I'm not going to tolerate something that doesn't feel like it's in alignment for me, because this is the energy that's keeping focused in their mind what it feels like. This is the energy that goes, I know what is for me. I know what love feels like. I know what it feels like to be seen, to be held, because this is the energy that gives that to themselves in the process of finding it. While for masculine and feminine energy, there's a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now that's coming upon that's experiencing that with an energetic connection. And what you have to stress here, this isn't energy that is discovering it. This is energy that is rediscovering it. This is the energy that's going, I always knew it would feel like this. This is what I was looking for. And this is the energy that's recognizing and understanding that that isn't something, if it's not there, it's very, you can't build it into something. It's something that needs to be grown. It's something that needs to be cared for. That ability of finding that. Like there's a lot of that energy that's now saying, I can't believe I went to a space of lack and I waited in that space of lack and said, grow, 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 when there was nothing there that was growing. So we see even now that so much of that energy, that's that gift that they're giving themselves, because they're feeling that is not something that they themselves have to bring forth in another. It feels like something that they're mutually creating between themselves in the process, right? And that requires care. That requires compassion, that requires consideration, that requires fastidiousness and cultivation. Love is not found, it is grown. Love is not found, it is grown. While continuing here, a lot of this energy within divine union, doing this work, recognizing and identifying, feeling that sense of growing that between you and your energetic counterpart. But this is a lot of that energy that, again, building forth and feeling that frustration with the self in the process. Because again, these are not energies that feel like they need to change for the sake of being in an energetic connection with counterpart. These are energies that are constantly working towards the goal of becoming their highest version of self. And that is that modality of building into that pathwork of abundance. The difficulty here is for both masculine and feminine, that ability of trying to do something in such a way, like the vision that is so grand that there's only so much that you can contain. So we see even now, this is why these energies are working to heal things within themselves so that they can be more like able to manifest that. Masculine, being more willing to become the energetic student, being more willing to look clumsily in the process of doing so. Feminine, being more willing to have others maybe not feel like they're the most kind, compassionate, considerate person on the planet as they focus on what it is that they know needs to be their energetic priority. Energy of the feminine working on, again, driving that arrow, right? When you focus to shoot an arrow, you have to dull out the sound around you so that you can keep your alignment. For masculine, this is an expansive process of feeling and seeing things beyond what it is that you want to focus on. Both of these energies healing and working towards that, but it is something that takes time and effort and energy as they learn to do so, and not being too hard on yourself in the process. Continuing to get clarification between our Lover's card in combination with our Six of Wands in its upright. Double sixes we've got here. Double sixes, Beautiful harmony here, but you have to work on balance. Remember, harmony is not found. Harmony is created. Harmony is not found. Harmony is created. One card to clarify, Queen of Wands in its reversal. So we see even now for a lot of that energy deep within divine union, this is more frustrating for the feminine right now. I want a lot of the feminine energy right now to be very kind to yourself, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Why does the feminine energy need to be more kind and compassionate for the self? Because we see even here that for a lot of this feminine energy, working in this modality is one that, again, that anxiety point, feeling that anxiety about how others perceive, working through that. This is the energy of the feminine, like stopping that process within the self to a certain extent. This is the energy of the feminine that's working on healing that space or place of feeling that need or that devastating, that amplification of feeling that sense of wanting to be liked instead of right. There's a lot of feminine energy that's healing from a lot of these old wounds that told feminine to a certain extent, no, it's more important to be liked. You have to sometimes pretend that you're not right if you want people to like you. I want all the feminines here to tap the screen. If you ever experienced something in your own growth process that said, listen, I know that you are right, but listen, sometimes to be liked, you have to pretend that you're not right. You have to pretend that you're not right if you're not liked. There's a lot of energy right now of the feminine that's healing this in a huge way and going, how dare you? How dare you have ever put that lesson inside of ourselves? Who told you that it was better to be liked than to be right, right? And so a lot of the feminine energy here is working through that process. And a lot of the energy is recognizing that that is an ancestral wound, right? While for a lot of the masculine energy, a lot of this work that we're seeing that you are working on, if these are modalities or experiences where, again, being able to be energetically silly, being able to be, again, childlike, not childish, childlike. If there was some modalities that someone said, you have to grow up, you have to concentrate on what's important. You can't be in a state of play. You can't be masculine and also be having fun. You can't be masculine and also experiencing childlike wonder and joy. This is a lot of the masculine energy that's healing from that and going, who told me that in order to be masculine, I could not also embody the bright qualities and characteristics of the true energetic child? Who told me that I could not both navigate that space of being grown, but also being creative, of being grown, but also being emotional, of being grown, but also being curious. So we see even now that these energies, this is what I'm talking about a lot of these healing of the energetic child wounds, but a lot of uncomfortable unpacking in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is a lot of the energy that is feeling that work in terms of some of those experiences from the past. And this is a lot of this energy that maybe, this is why the energy may be feeling like they're being hard on themselves in the process, because I'm seeing that there's a lot of energy coming into divine union that was like feminine looking at something and saying, I always knew something was wrong there. But I told myself, if I just changed myself enough, if I just contorted, if I just bent myself a certain way, if I just tried to fit into the shape that was required to be in that relationship, then it would become the perfect relationship. So we see even now that this is a lot of the energy that's healing again, doing the inner child work of saying, that was what was wrong. It was never right. It was requiring me to conform to be able to fit into it. While for masculine, that modality of seeing or feeling an experience from the past of saying, no matter what I did, it never felt like anything was right. No matter how hard I tried, everything was critical. It was in that energy of feeling like I always had to work to try to meet someone's expectations, but never knowing what those expectations were, or them feeling like they were too adaptable or too changeable. Both of these energies healing those inner child wounds by saying to one another, experiencing a connection right now that's basically saying to one another, nothing as more simple as you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. That's all this energy is doing right now, coming into divine union. Every message, every consideration point, you are enough. You are enough. And that is the energy that is building now into that context. And it's healing everything in the process of the past that did not deliver in such a way. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is the energy saying, I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. I am enough and I have had enough. This is a lot of the energy right now in separation going, I am enough and I've had enough. I am enough and I've had enough. Because this is the energy. And I'm telling you even now, do you notice we talked about this, right? What do we see with the energy coming into divine union right now? Masculine, opening and closing, right? So this is the masculine saying again, I am enough, right? And this is the feminine going, I am enough. But the feminine masculine's opening up and feminine's closing. What is the energy in separation doing right now? The energy in separation is doing it within the self, going, I am enough and I have enough. This is wing work. Like this is the energy that's working towards this. And it is the simultaneous feeling of empowerment and frustration, because this is the energy that is moving forward with those energetic mantras in reaffirming and saying, I am enough and I have enough. And I'm not going to need to prove that to the energy that's for me. They're going to recognize it. So we see that that's happening, but it's requiring a lot of work on healing the inner self in the process. Continuing to get clarification here between our 6 of Wands in combination with our 5 of Swords in combination with our 10 of Pentacles. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our 3 of Pentacles in its reversal. The only way to get something new is doing something different. And this is a lot of energy that's recognizing that a good manifestation is going to change you in the process. And so I see even now that there's a lot of energy that's saying to themselves, am I in a rut? Am I in a rut? You're not in a rut. Because if you're saying to yourself, this keeps happening, in the moment that you say this keeps happening is the observation of an energetic cycle. And I see even now that there's a lot of energy that's doing something in a different way. And it's a difference between something that keeps happening because now you're not accepting it. So there's a bit of that moment of experiencing something that feels like the same energy, but you're not moving towards it. You're pushing it away because now you're in a space or place of identifying it more. And so a lot of energy right now is having new ground. But I feel like a lot of that new ground that we see that the energy in separation is navigating is embracing the power and the magic of your word no. Like this is the energy that's moving towards their manifestation goals by articulating no towards anything that is not it. So you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get really frustrated in the process of moving towards your manifestation, because again, this is an energy picking everything up and being like, oh, this must be my manifestation. Ow, why'd you bite me? Stop biting me. Ow, why'd you bite me? Like, this isn't the energy that's going, yes, this is, they don't know, they just don't know they're my manifestation yet. Ow, why'd you bite me? Like, this is not the energy that's doing that. This is the energy being like, you are not my manifestation. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, the eyes that see this can't unsee. And I see even now, this is the energy that's almost looking back and saying, I don't need to break those energetic connections. I'm just moving them. They're being moved into a space where I can hold them. Because this is the energy that's moving something in such a way that, again, it's almost like they're opening that past back up, because they're recognizing that they're finding different things there when they look upon them. While for masculine and feminine energy that is deep within divine union right now, so much of this energy that we see that is within divine union at this time, this is the energy that's breaking new ground by doing things in ways that you haven't done them before. And that can be frightening work. It can feel destabilizing. This can feel a lot of like, I got to tell you right now, sometimes the difference between, like the only difference, I'm going to tell you right now, the only difference between a breakthrough and a breakdown is how you navigate it. The only difference between a breakthrough and a breakdown is how you navigate it. And so we see even now that there's a lot of energy that's navigating things that they may have recognized would have been more devastating in the past. But even the moment of the energy recognizing it now, it just frustrates. This is the energy that's feeling the appreciation and seeing how far they've come, because their own ability to identify their priorities is helping them recognize what feels like it can be overcome. Continuing to get clarification between our Tower in its reverse in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Cups. This is a lot. I'm telling you even now, I feel like there's a lot of energy within divine union, and someone being like, what's going on? Someone being like, not great stuff going on. Not great stuff going on. But the ability to look at something that's frustrating and be like, it's okay, right? Like that ability of navigating that, maintaining that energetic balance. This is because a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union is remembering that the first rule, like the first rule of spirit in every context, is taking care of one's own spiritual and emotional self is of highest importance at every moment. And so this is the energy that's prioritizing that. This is the energy that is prioritizing their peace. And when you prioritize your peace, everything that's not your peace, it becomes a lot more identifiable. It's like water off a duck's back to a certain extent. You're not taking it. There's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union that's just not taking things personally in the way that they would have taken them personally. Because this is the energy within divine union that's focusing on a higher purpose. While for masculine and feminine, and for feminine and masculine right now, it's a little bit different. For feminine, it's more of that sense of really feeling frustration in anything that feels like it's moving you off of your own focus. Like I can literally see some energy right now that's would have been devastated on something, but they're working so hard and shooting an arrow that everybody's setting off firecrackers around them, and they're just kind of rolling their eyes and being stop as they do what they need to do. While for masculine, it's more of that sense of navigating spaces and places and not being so worried about others criticizing you or making you feel silly in the progress. This is the masculine energy that's doing something in a way that if someone's teasing them for it or coming into that space of poking at them because they're looking a little silly in the process of doing something, this is the energy. It's almost saying what makes you think this is the energy. It's now taking more of a feminine take, which is what makes you think why do you hate joy? Why do you hate fun? Why do you I can see some masculine energy just looking at someone and being why do you hate fun? Why do you hate being happy? Continuing to get clarification. And again, that's that, angels have wings because they take themselves lightly. For masculine and feminine energy, coming into divine union, there's a lot of this energy I see right now. This is the panacea. This is the cup. This is, I told you, this is the energy of two of energies moving towards one another and basically saying over and over again, you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. And that becomes, you don't need to cut a cord when it becomes a golden thread. So if that feeling of feeling that sense or centering of someone saying to you, you are enough, this is the energy that doesn't feel like they need to cut a cord. This is an energy that now feels like they're looking back and saying, it's a real shame that person made me feel like I wasn't enough. It's a real shame that person made me feel like nothing I did was right. Because this is the energy that's looking in the present and going, I believe this. I know this to be true because it feels like it is good, and it feels like that is that gift that is coming back, because this is the energy that is feeling restoration in the process, and that is the restoration that doesn't require any kind of course of action in correcting the past, because that's the energy that says if everything in the past led to this, what is there that needs correcting? While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, I just see a bunch of energy going, I'm done. Goodbye, everybody. I'm no longer available. I am done. I am focusing on myself. You all I can see all this energy right now in separation being and I'm done. I'm never doing that again. I am going to be alone. I'm going to have 10,000 cats. Masculine being I'm going to buy every video game on the planet. There's a lot of this energy here that's just moving into this pathwork of basically saying I am finished, but you're not, you're just beginning. This is the energy that's just beginning, because this is the energy that's basically saying, I don't care about trying to meet someone else's energetic expectations. I'm not going to try to conform into something, worrying that I'm about to miss out on what's for me. This is the energy that's basically saying, take me or leave me. Take it or leave it. And what happens in that modality of you saying take it or leave it? This is the energy saying, I am enough. I am enough to themselves, and moving towards the energy that appreciates and sees that as well. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Three of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Wands in its reversal. Literally see a lot of energy and separation being like, I don't care. I don't think, and I see a lot of energy and separation going, I don't think I'm ever going to find it. I don't think I'm ever going to find it. There's all this energy here that I kind of see. It's right now. Like, look at this. The energy is going, I'm good. I don't need anything. I don't think it's coming, because this is the, oh, is that what you're doing? Are you relinquishing? Are you relinquishing your desired outcome? Are you really saying that you're done, or are you really saying that you're just beginning? Are you really saying right now, I keep having this happen to me? Or are you really saying, I'm no longer allowing it to happen to me, and that's why it keeps happening, because you keep stopping it before it does? Are you saying, I don't think it's going to happen? Or are you saying, I'm leaving myself, like, universe, surprise me. I'm ready to be surprised now. I'm ready to be surprised now, because this is a lot of this energy that is just working and focusing on the self. And this is the energy saying, I don't need to look outside of the self to create my desired outcome. This is the energy saying, I'm just going to move in that pathwork and assume that it's already here. And in the moment that you do that, the universe hates a vacuum. The moment you do that, like, you've already changed how your perception on things are. You've already changed what's occurring, because your own perception is such that you recognize and identify that, again, you move towards your manifestations by becoming intolerant of anything that is not that. Continuing to get clarification for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union. This is the energy that, again, is healing in the present, and it's painful, because I got to tell you right now, it's not the fact that these energies weren't in connections where they were hoping that their manifestation goals were going to come to fruition throughout them in the past. This is now the energy that's understanding why they weren't, or why they couldn't, why it was either a detrimental limitation or an impossibility. So even here, that is the closure that comes in understanding, that allows for those energetic breakthroughs. But it's emotional. It's bittersweet. I can even see here that there's so much of this work that there's a lot of unpacking, because this is the energy that's almost looking at those with new eyes and going, oh my gosh, I see it now. I couldn't see it before. Continuing to get clarification for masculine and feminine right now, deep within divine union. A lot of change here. There's a lot of change that I see that's happening right now for the energy coming into divine union. And it is having an impact on masculine and feminine, because these are these modalities here where I just keep seeing it. A lot of this energy is relinquishing the energetic outcome. This pathwork of purpose is such that, like, focusing on what is the priority. I see even now, like, there's a lot of that energy that is becoming more adaptable in relationality to something that they may have felt more fixated on in the past. Because when we move into that pathwork of purpose, the most important thing is the prioritization of what our purpose is. And so this is the energy that's like, yeah, I'm focusing on that purpose. Everything else is flexible. Right? Everything else is like, like not necessarily, you're not so particular. So I see even now that this is also a lot of that energy that's like, again, becoming comfortable, coming out of their comfort zone. Final card for today's spread between our Ace of Cups in combination with our Four of Wands in its reversal. Clarification coming through right now, and I love to see this on the cusp of the full moon. We've got here our Five of Wands in its reversal. I keep getting the word appeasement that's coming through over and over again over the last few days. So for a lot of the energy within divine union, there's energy I see that is making peace with things. And what do we do when we're making peace with things? When we make peace with things, we recognize and identify like what the limitations are. And so I see even now, a lot of this work is bittersweet. A lot of this work is like, it's energetically painful, because I see even now, like I'm getting here that there's a lot of work that's happening right now. That's the articulation point of some change of plans that is occurring. But a lot of those changes, like that is that modality that, like, even the observational point in something that I see even here, something that you were trying to, like, something that you were moving towards, that you're now making an accommodation point on, not feeling devastation, but just like being able to, like, I want to say, roll with the punches to a certain extent. This is a lot of energy within divine union that is navigating what their priorities are by what feels like it is important. And when something is important, when you know what is important to you, you become very energetically strong, because that's the modality of like the energy that prioritizes in such a way that everything else becomes impermeable in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, so much of this work of the energy coming into divine union is the perception, the change of perception that comes across via the like even partnership that is now clarifying any of the energetic connections that were requiring an over giving in one direction or another, that feels like they were creating that sense of permanent permeable imbalance. And this is a lot of that energy coming into divine union. That again, it's not that they're cutting cords. You don't need to cut a cord that you make peace with. That becomes a golden cord. That's where you send love and compassion to it, because that's that moment that you look back and go, I wish I could have seen that then. I understand the reasons why. I understand what I was looking for. I understand that I was never going to find it there. I wish them peace in the process. So we see even now a lot of that energy just bringing some of that, like, that frequency vibration to those past experiences. And a lot of that is creating that sense of healing, because that's the energy that's staying powerfully present in the process. And that doesn't require you to like snip, 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 snip and become your own energetic island. It becomes that modality that you're shining a light in the present on the past. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, so much of this work that I'm seeing right now for the energy in separation, this is the energy I see. I just see a bunch of energy going, I'm done. I've made peace with it. I'm never going to find my manifestation. I'm never going to find it. I've made peace with it. I can just see so much energy right now in separation. I'm sorry. I don't mean, I'm not, I just have to stress, there's so much energy right now that's letting go. I see it. They're going, I'm just letting go of that dream. Are you letting go of that dream? Is that what you're doing? What happens when you let go of a dream? We talk about this all the time. What happens when you let go of a dream? You have to release your manifestation in order to be able to receive it. So a lot of this energy I see even now, like I see a lot of this energy being like, ugh, just like throwing their bottle out to sea, letting go of the balloon and being like, there it goes. Oh well, back to work, bonk. Like, because what they're really doing is they you know, like that sense of understanding, like that is the energy that's saying, I'm good. I don't need it. It would be nice, but I don't need it. And that's that modality where everything changes, because that comes towards something can come towards you in a way that just delivers joy. Final card, bottom of the deck of our read today. Yeah, 9 of Cups in its reversal. So for so much of this energy right now, across all the I mean, this is that Piscean, better out, I'm going to say it right now, better out than in. Better out than in, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want anybody popping off today on anyone, because I just keep seeing that there's a lot of this clearing that's happening right now. And I see even now, like a lot of that, like a lot of that confluence, if you will, like a lot of that, they're saying a lot of the confluence is coming through fluency. So I see even now making sure that what you put out is what you want to get back in kind. I want you to think about that a lot today. So even if you're feeling frustrated, try to move it into a space that feels like it's energetically productive. Remember, better out than in. Don't match the room, be the room. Think about that. I know how hard that is. I know that's hard, right? But I want you to focus on that right now, because I see even now, like there's so much of this energy here. It can be very easy to be frustrated. It can be really easy to be, to come into that space, but let that be restorational. Remember that, like, if you're experiencing something difficult, make sure you're not taking it out on those around you. Make sure that you're articulating through it, not making someone not projecting it, articulating on it, basically. Because I see even now that there's something about that here Like, and it's giving me like a little bit of this energy across all the frequencies, being like, I really want to give them a piece of my mind. I really want to give them a piece of my... You have to ask yourself, does it feel like that's energetically productive, or it's just going to create more of the negativity that you may be trying to expel? For masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, that's a big way that that's really important right now, because I see even now that there's a lot of energy here that I think that something in that letting go process is in the process of someone trying to give you something that you don't necessarily energetically want, right? And so I see even now like a lot of this energy wanting to kind of like articulate upon that. This is the energy that remembers that telling someone that what they're giving you isn't necessarily what you want doesn't necessarily change the quality or characteristic of what is being received. It just makes one feel better to a certain extent. While for masculine and feminine energy coming, into divine union, like I see a bunch of energy being like, it would make me feel a lot better. Like, make sure it's going in a productive space. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, same thing here. Like I told you, there's a little bit of this energy we're seeing around some like situations now with someone being like, like this is why some of this processing is difficult, because I see even now like a lot of this energy of being like, I'm making peace with it. But there's a little bit of this energy that's almost saying, again, that's why we're talking about not cutting cords. It's like a little bit of that like forgiven, but not forgotten kind of energy. Like that sense of holding, like sometimes you heal from something, but that doesn't mean that you have to relinquish the energetic lesson that's attached to it. And so we see even now that there's a lot of energy that's now looking at something that they were holding pain upon themselves, that are now taking that lesson. And this is now the energy that's almost saying like, I'm path of peace. But the energy's going, but I have a few choice things I could say about it. While for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, I'm going to say it again. All you can do is everything you can do. Don't fault yourself if you're doing the best that you can. Remember that your best is always good enough. And I see even now like a lot of that energy. Like, don't worry if you feel like you're not doing everything perfect. Your job is not to be perfect. Just, prioritize. Remember, everything can get done in the vector of patience and time. So make sure that you're prioritizing. Let that be your lesson during this Virgo season. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we start our private readings for personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who attended our Hierophant class. That recording will be going up later tonight. I will be posting to the paid subscribers of my Substack when it is available. If you missed our live class, it will be available to you. And if you would like to join us on our classes, the next class we are having will be held on Thursday, October 10th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Lover's card. I am so excited to teach this card because we've just completed what I describe as the first cycle in the tarot, and we are now beginning the second. If you would like to become a part of our live class program, now would be the perfect time to become a part of that class program, because you can also, when you subscribe to my Substack, you will have access to all the course materials and recordings for all of the previous classes. So if you join now, you've got about 6 hours worth of material to catch up on. So you've got a lot of time between now and the next class to catch up to where we are. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we are studying. And if you decide to become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary mentorship class with me, a one-on-one personal class wherein I will assess where you are on your particular tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I really tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already taking those classes with us, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services, any of the in-person events that I do. You'll also have access to my newsletter where I post my live schedule each week. I also post there the full podcast as well as the pictures of each day's spread. I also post the winners to my giveaways there. We've actually pulled the winner of our August giveaway. Congratulations to the winner of our August giveaway. It is listed up on my Substack. We are now doing the giveaway for a free reading with me for September. If you would like to potentially win a free reading with me, a free private reading, head over to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack, if you would like to become a part of that giveaway, all you need to do is head over to the link tree in my bio. Filling out that survey the 2-minute travel survey there will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, I will be giving away a free private reading, not only to the person who wins, but also to whoever referred them. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck of winning this month. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I now offer mentorship courses. These are courses, private one-on-one sessions that are focused on your own personal spiritual growth and development. And I focus those on whatever course of study that you are invested in learning about. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. These are purchased on either an individual level or as a monthly class series. And you can book those on the link tree in my bio. That is 4 45-minute courses, 1 per week over the span of a month. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer a discounted rate on weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package on 4 30-minute readings, 1 per week over the span of the month, so that you can stay more consistent on your own personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again